Hello everybody, this is Ben with another Minecraft video. Today I wanted to show off my automatic brewing station and show you how to build it. So this brewing station creates splash potions of swiftness extended. It does this in 4 stages. Each stage brews one phase of the potion. I do this because it's a lot faster and easier than trying to get 4 items lined up in the hopper here and keeping them separate and everything. So you'll notice that each of these is basically one modular design daisy chained together. So I built a replica over here. As you can see, it's a dropper pointing towards a brewing stand. The brewing stand is on top of an item hopper that's going to a chest. In this design, it simply dumps into the next dropper, and then there's a solid block underneath it. Then you have a repeater pointing into that block. Now, what happens here is when you power this block now powers this hopper, which prevents it from draining or accepting items. At the same time, this dropper is now being powered by this block. Now droppers and dispensers have a quirk where if they're powered, if you do a redstone update next to them, they will fire. So there we go. So we can use that to our advantage by setting up a pulsar here. Now this pulsar is going too fast to cause this to fire normally if it's off, but if it's powered it will fire. So then all you have to do is put in your ingredient on top and then let this brew. Once it's finished brewing, you just turn off the power. This will drain into the next section, and you can start again with the next one. So when you want a speed boost, in this case, you can either reach in and grab your splash potions from the large chest, or there is a dispenser that is facing upwards that you can just run over, which is pretty cool. Another cool feature is this shut-off line, so we don't want this producing potions unless we are in need of them. So this line here continually powers this, shutting it off until it gets low enough for that to turn off. You can see it did there. And now this is draining out. This is on a even timer, so eventually it will turn back on. There we go. And you can see it's now filled up again, and it's brewing. See down here? And when this empties in a few seconds, we'll see it drain again. Okay. So there, this one drained in here, which caused this to become powered again. So it's now off. So we're going to build this over here, and I'll show you how to build it. Okay, so we're going to start with our brewing stations. We're going to need 4 of them, 1 per phase. I think the highest tiered potion there is this stage for potion of harmony. I like 4 tiers just because I don't really use potions of harmony, to be quite honest with you. Now this stair step design for a brewing station is the fastest because you only have to wait for 1 phase to brew before you get the potion at the bottom. But you can make more compact versions. I've done them down to 3 by 3 by 4 to make a 4th tier potion. So you can really customize your brewing stations to your needs, is what I'm saying here. So we have our brewing stations all set, and we have our outputs, our dispenser, and our large chest. So now we need to add hoppers. Here, 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 and here, and then you want 1 for your potions, water bottles. I like to use a double chest for my water bottles because they don't stack. For everything else, you can just use regular. I mean, you don't even really need chests, to be honest. You have 5 times 64 items in each of these hoppers, so. Plus another stack in the actual brewing stand, so you should be good with those without any extra storage. Okay, so next we want to wire these up. So we're going to take repeaters, and we want 1 repeater pointing into each of these. Each of these blocks below the droppers. And then we're just going to connect these with redstone, like this. So now when we power this, it'll power this block, which will power the redstone underneath it, powering the next in a stair-step fashion. This will be connected to a clock that will cycle this on and off for long enough to allow items to brew. So this will work, but it's only going to brew 1 potion at a time because as we saw over here. This only naturally shoots out one potion when activated. So we want to create a redstone update next to these. So we can do that fairly easily. Just put a block next to the block underneath. Actually, that doesn't need to do that. And then over one. And then one up there. And you want to take your redstone and just do a redstone line down these blocks. And then you just simply add a torch. And that will cause this blinking, and then eventually the torch will burn out. But that's fine, because eventually it will turn back on, and actually it will turn on when there's a redstone update, which happens right here. So every time this toggles on and off, this will rapid fire. And again, this isn't what we can actually see here. This isn't going to trigger the droppers. Now what's happening here is that when you have redstone dust, when you have redstone dust on top of a block, you turn it on, it will turn off any torch that's attached to the block. At the same time, a torch will power a block above it, which will power any adjacent redstone. So basically what we're doing here is putting redstone here, which turns this off, which is powering this, which turns this off, which turns this on, which turns this off, which turns... Basically we're making a really quick loop, which will go on forever, except the torch eventually burns out. So that's what we're doing here. So the final bit we have to do is making this clock. Well, actually we have one more thing to do up here first, before we make this clock. So we want to have this... We don't want this to run continuously, or else it's going to fill up everything and waste all your items. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a line from the end chest here up to the beginning. Now you can either keep this off or keep this on to shut it off, because either way it is going to not let things pass through. Since this is going to be producing a redstone signal, the stronger, the more that chest fills up, it just makes more sense to keep it. It makes more sense to have this be powered as natural law. So we're just going to run redstone up here, and just a regular repeater right here. And I did a 4-tick delay because what would happen is one of these potions would drain in at a time, and I was often having it where one potion would go, turn this line off, and then the other two would remain in the brewing stand. So if you had a 4-tick delay, then that would give enough time for all 3 to be drained into the chest before it's turned off. So finally, we're gonna make a clock to power this. This is a design Ether came up with that I really liked. Really, the only issue I have with it is a odd-numbered design, and this is an even-numbered build, but not much I can do about that. So it consists of 2 hoppers feeding into each other. Putting in 2 blocks. Put redstone next to the box. Sticky piston. Sticky piston. And a redstone block. I'll put a link in my description for Ethan's video where he explains how this works. I found for brewing potions. 34. You're going to want about 60 is the ideal number of blocks to put in there. Okay, so before we can turn this on, I want to fill up my chest with water bottles and ingredients, so I'm going to do that and get back to you. Okay, I'm back. I've loaded all these up with the various ingredients. We're going to be making fire-resistant potion. This one, so hopefully when this comes back we'll be able to check it out. Okay, so this is our first one. It's going to take several passes to get all the way down to the bottom. But we can see this successfully deploy 3 bottles in here, brewing successfully. It's going to be done in a second. Let's see, these 3 get pass through down to this one, and when this cycles back, it will launch into this one. Cycle through, all the while another batch will be brewed up here, continuing until we reach the bottom chest. So I just wanted to show off a prototype version of one of these you could build in your world. I'm a big proponent of building things to match shapes, so because this has a stair step shape to it, I decided to make it into a set of stairs. So this one's a bit more elaborate. I added a couple more features to this one, which I will show you right now. So first off, you have indicator lights that tell you whether you have items in the chest or not. See down here, there are no items in the chest, and this is dark. How you can do that is by having a comparator right next to the chest, pointing into a redstone, into a block with a redstone torch, into another block with a redstone torch that activates that lamp. The other cool feature here is a water bottle loading is a water bottle loading area. So I'm not a big fan of loading water bottles by hand. It's a real hassle to do. So instead, I have this. So I just stand on this pressure plate, a water source block opens up, and then I can just fill up my bottles here until I can throw them out. Now, currently this is filled to capacity, so those won't actually get sucked in, but it's a very quick way to refill your bottles. So this is pretty straightforward. You have a piston, in line here with your floor. You then have your pressure plate with a block underneath it with a bit of redstone on it. When you push down the pressure plate, it activates this redstone, turning off this torch, which goes into this block here. This block has a torch on this side, which powers this block, which powers this, which causes this to extend and retract. So then all you need to do is put a source block here, hitting into copper, and then it works out that this copper is at the same level as your water bottle, so you can just line it straight in. Now this doesn't have as much carrying capacity as a large chest, but it is far faster to refill than doing it by a large chest. I forgot to explain how this light works. So this is the hopper that's just below the water source. You put a comparator next to it. Redstone leading up to a torch tower with another line of redstone next to the lamp there. So you can actually totally eliminate this large chest and just move this kind of closer. Just checking into our build before signing off, and you can see we finished. The strength of that comparator from the chest is strong enough to turn this repeater on, which means this is permanently locked on, making that clock pointless at the moment. So you can see we have a nice, almost full chest of potions, plus a dispenser full. And it doesn't take all that much time to brew, actually. I've been here maybe 20 minutes to a half an hour. And I would definitely suggest building one of these in your own world. They aren't really that expensive, and the convenience is amazing. You have potions forever if you do that. So, I hope I've inspired you to attempt to build this in your own world. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.